by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas from Studio A. It all starts right now.
Welcome, everyone. You're tuned into the ultimate destination for all things lifestyle, entertainment, and everything in between. I'm Jimenita Swain, and you're watching What's Trending, the show where we bring you the latest trends, hottest news, and insider tips on living your best life. Whether you're here for fashion, food, fitness, or the latest buzz from social media, we've got you covered. Let's dive in. A Georgia woman who unknowingly carried and delivered a baby boy who was not biologically hers is launching legal action against an IVF clinic over the mix-up after being forced to give up custody. Christina Murray became pregnant after IVF treatment at the Coastal Fertility Clinic back in May 2023. But it became clear that the embryo she'd been carrying, in fact, belonged to another couple. After Ms. Murray gave birth to an African-American boy, while her selected sperm donor was supposed to look like her and have dirty blonde hair and blue eyes as she had chosen. Well, 90 false killer whales stranded on a remote beach in Tasmania will be euthanized, according to Australian wildlife officials who made the difficult decision on Wednesday. Rough ocean conditions have made it impossible to keep the mammals afloat. Tasmania's Department of Natural Resources and Environmental said more than 150 whales were found stranded near the Arthur River on the island's west coast late Tuesday. And today, February 19th, calls in celebration as it's Chocolate Mint Day. The history of chocolate reaches as far back as the Mayans and Aztecs. When Europeans popularized chocolate as a confection in the New World, they saw that people disliked its bitterness and dark color. They originally used it as medicine until countries like Switzerland and Sweden began to popularize it as a hot drink. So, celebrate the day with a mint chocolate candy bar or some ice cream. You decide. As for what's coming up in today's show, history made with the landing of the SpaceX rocket in the Bahamas. And in studio, we have more excited junior sailors ready to hit the high seas. That and so much more on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
At a press conference, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, announced the arrival of Google Street View to the islands of the Bahamas.
In partnership with World Travel in 360, specialists in Street View technology-based promotional projects for tourism, and Google, the Ministry of Tourism has opened the door for all 16 of our major island destinations to be showcased in an expansive, immersive virtual tour. This project will see much of our destination captured in over 1 million geolocated 360-degree images. That's a big deal. It will allow for greater ease of accessibility to our shores, as well as increased visibility for Bahamian businesses and enterprises. Through this initiative, hundreds of thousands at home and millions abroad will be able to experience our over 1,200 miles or 2,000 kilometers of our beautiful country as if they were right here.
CEO of World Travel in 360, Federico Tibeto, and COO, Dimitar Kunyev, gave us more details on what this digital representation will mean for the country.
In the next few months, we're going to cover all the 16 islands. So in the coming weeks, everyone from every part of the world will be able to go on Google, activate the Google Maps layer, and see the beautiness of this island.
The project is something amazing. It's much more than just tourism. It's something that will help local businesses. It will help citizens of the Bahamas, and it will bring a lot of benefits to the country in years to come.
For more tourism updates, visit Tourism Today or Bahamas.com. I'm Michael Miller, and this is Tourism Today.
to the 22nd, the Monarchy 4 Show comes alive with the Subdue It Knowles National Junior Sailing Championships. My, oh my. Come on out and witness the top junior skippers from throughout the Bahamas glaze through the waters competing for top prizes in the Opti Sunfish Laser and E-Class. And don't miss out in the best in youth talent and a special junk canoe rush out by the Junior Junk Canoe Champions. And did I also mention the best in native dishes? So if you're young or old, you don't want to miss this. February 20th to the 22nd at the Monarchy Foreshore Subdue It Knowles National Junior Sailing Championships.
The Bahamas is known for many milestones, and the SpaceX historic takeoff from Port Canaveral, Florida is no different with the landing point in the Bahamas. Take a look.
4, 3, 2, 1, ignition, full power, and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Vehicle touching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Well, the SpaceX booster made a successful landing in the Bahamas, positioning the country as a key player in the global space tourism. Now, officials are viewing the historic move as strategic in terms of economic potential, technological advancements, and propelling a new market for the #1 industry. In studio to discuss the milestone achievement and address a growing number of concerns are aerospace engineer Aisha Bowe and aspiring astronaut Alexis Knowles. Welcome to What's Trending, ladies.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So Aisha, give us your views and your feedback on last night's landing.
It was absolutely incredible. Not only was it beautiful, it was historic. I had an opportunity to watch from Cape Eleuthera, and I saw in real time as people ran to get chairs, to take out their phones, to just see what was going on. And it was amazing. If anybody's watching this interview and they have not had a chance to see the landing, I would invite them to go and take a look.
And as you were telling us earlier on, a lot went into planning for this particular event. So talk to us a little bit about that.
You know, what we saw was, in many ways, the culmination of my life's work and the work of very many people who had to put in place the regulatory approach. We had a lot of planning and coordination from the State Department, the FAA, the Bahamas, SpaceX, and what came out of it was a framework. There is a deal that can be used by others in the aerospace industry in order to work with the Bahamas in order to bring the aerospace industry here.
Well, that sounds good. Now, we understand, like you said, this is just the beginning of these landings. So what's planned next for the future?
Well, one of the things that I'm really excited about is outside of the landings, and I completely understand why there's a lot of focus there. It is the most visible part of this deal. But I got my start because I didn't know, what it was that I wanted to be when I grew up. So I just picked a thing, right? I said, oh, well, I want to be an aerospace engineer because it just sounded like the coolest thing. And here we are, having not known who I was going to be, going into aerospace, working at NASA, and starting a private company. And along the way, I had the opportunity to meet incredible Bahamians. I mean, my chief of staff at NASA, who was there for more than a couple decades, her mother was a Roll from Roll Town in Exuma.
Wow, small.
Some of the most incredible people I worked with had Caribbean heritage, and we are going to finally be able to bring the very same industry that many of us have had to go to other countries to work in here. And that, to me, is what made me so emotional the other day, was to know that Bahamians are going to add another notch to the tourism product and make it the most distinct product on earth, but also people are going to have the opportunity to be trained for new career fields, as well as to continue in the career fields they already have back here.
That's interesting, because I was just going to ask you about, from your perspective, talk about how this impacts on the country's tourism product, and you kind of touched on it a little bit there, but do you want to elaborate a little bit more?
Well, one of the things that I've had the privilege of seeing when I was at NASA and even beyond is the emergence of new companies in aerospace. Some of them we know. I can name a couple, I think, that are right at the forefront of everyone's mind. SpaceX and Blue Origin. They are heavy hitters in the aerospace industry. And those organizations are economic power centers. People go to see their launches. In fact, for the last 50 years, people have been going to Cape Canaveral to see rocket launches, whether it was NASA or the shuttle, or rockets launching communication satellites or remote sensing missions. People go to see these launches. And the data, well, that's well documented. It's over 1 million people every year go to see these launches. Now, these individuals can come to Bahamas to see the landings. And that is a different tourist. That's in addition to the existing tourism products we have here. And, you know, I was kind of joking about this, and, you know, Florida, I love you, but I prefer the beaches of the Bahamas much better when it comes to my landings, as well as pretty much most of the people that I know who are listening to this are like, Aisha, how can we get over there? You know, we had over 3 million people watch this in one day. I am hearing that this might be one of the most watched things that has come out of the Bahamas ever. Those individuals, they're not gonna just watch it, they're gonna wanna see it. And when they come here, which they're already being actively marketed to by the amazing people in the Ministry of Tourism. They're gonna wanna see these landings on the beaches, they're gonna want custom excursions, they're gonna want merchandise. I mean, I really want a SpaceX Bahamas hat. I want to see the booster as it transits back to Florida because it goes back, and just have the ability to really engage with the new space culture.
Are you able to share with us? I know there were some concerns about, you know, marine life, water pollution, et cetera, like that. Are you able to, since a lot of planning went into this, can you talk a little bit about the impact or the perspective of those concerns before we get to Miss Alexis? I don't want you to feel like you're being missed out over there.
You know, I really appreciate all of the questions. I think it's very healthy to have a public conversation about the planning and the execution of the flawless landing the other day. And one of the things that was pivotal, in fact, there are people working and monitoring right now, was the environment. We had an amazing press conference, which I invite people to go and to listen to, where Dr. Neely answered a lot of the questions that were at the forefront of people's minds in terms of how much fuel is there, what's actually going on, what was the process. And I would like to invite people to go and listen to that press conference. She articulately answered the questions far better than I'm able to in this moment. But in addition to that, there was also the retainment of a local company, Braun, who is involved in the environmental surveys, the assessments, the pre and the post. And what I want Bahamians to know is that every launch includes an environmental component. It's not a one-time thing. There is consistent monitoring, there's data that's being gathered, and no launch will continue unless it's deemed safe.
Very fair enough. So, Alexis, I understand that you're an aspiring astronaut. What sparked your interest in that field?
Well, ever since Hurricane Matthew, since my mom took me outside to see the damages it did, I was really interested to see what's in the sky and what's happening at night. So yesterday was a very magical day for me because I was able to see the Falcon 9 rocket booster in the sky as it flew over my house, and I was so excited.
So how do you feel to actually meet a former astronaut in the person of Aisha?
I was so excited. I'm happy that this day has came, and it's a really good start to my journey to become an astronaut.
Awesome. So what advice are you offering to Miss Alexis, Aisha?
I want to share with her that just this conversation means that it's possible. I never would have imagined the opportunity to be in the Bahamas talking about the first international landing of a rocket on a floating platform in the Bahamas. It means that we all matter. We can make a difference. We can reach, and we can change the future of our world, of our country for the better.
And obviously there is so much more to come. Like you said, so much opportunities in terms of careers for persons interested in the area, and also so much for tourism. Any final thoughts on the future and what's happening as it unfolds?
As someone who's deeply passionate about education, like many of those in the Bahamas, one of the things that excited me about Alexis, who I just had the joy of bumping into, and I challenged her, I was like, you know what, why don't you come along and hang out with me for the day so you can see what it's like. We have an investment here in STEM careers in education. 2 years ago was the first year that the SpaceX engineers came to the Bahamas to support my camp. We have over 80% of the students who are government students, and I know you're familiar with Hackett Bahamas.
Yes.
And they were talking about space, they were talking about the partnership, they talked about NASA and Apollo, and the missions that happened decades ago that many here in the Bahamas, they remember. On my way to the airport today, there's a lady in Eleuthera, and she said, I was there in 1969. And she showed me a picture that she had taken of a physical picture of that time when they brought the astronauts there and they greeted them. And this all just communicates to me that, you know, the Bahamas has always had a role in space, but now it has a place. And to see that we are inspiring the youth to dream higher, as well as working on a global level, I am so proud to know that all the people who made yesterday's landing flawless are professionals who are working here.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Aisha and Alexis, for joining us on What's Trending today, and all the best in your aspirations and your future endeavors.
Thank you.
Well, stay with us. There is so much more on the other side of the break.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Diet-friendly special.
What? You don't know who TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, but the Tourism Development Corporation helps develop and grow Bahamian businesses in the tourism industry. You heard what they say, Mike? Oh, yeah. Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things they do? What does do? Wait, check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
We're just one day out from the start of the Sir Durward Knowles Junior National Sailing Championship, set to take over the Montague shores starting tomorrow. The 3-day event will see young sailors competing in various classes from February 20th through February 22nd. Now we have some special guests joining us in studio today in the persons of Dallas Knowles. He's the head coach of the Exuma Sailing Club, and he has with him some junior sailors, Tanaj Manos and Caden Burrows. Welcome all of you to What's Trending.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you. Awesome to have you here with us. So Dallas, I guess we will start with you. How do you prepare your sailors for competitions like this one, and how many youth sailors are you working with that'll be participating in this competition?
Well, the maximum amount that we're allowed to bring is 16, so we're bringing the full amount. So we have 16 young sailors with us, and they range from some first-timers like Mr. Burrows here to some of our veteran sailors like Mr. Manos. So we have a wide range of talent on the team, but it's a non-stop training year-round. We practice 3 days a week, year-round in Exuma. We're on the water all the time, just trying to keep the kids fresh, keep their minds engaged, make sure the boats are always working. So it never really stops. There's always another competition that's just around the corner. So this is a pretty big one, but it's on the heels of a couple of other regattas that we just completed. So the kids are fresh and ready to go.
And I think you were telling me, obviously, you just got in this morning, so that meant heading over to Porter's Key, clearing the boats. How many boats did you bring with you?
Yeah, we brought 6 sloops with us. So our team has the largest collection of sloops in the competition. Out of the 21 boats, we have 6 of them. And then we brought 6 sunfish with us as well. So we don't have enough boats to go around for all the teams and all the kids. So a lot of the teams have to bring some stuff with them.
Okay, that makes sense. And so what are the benefits of competing in these type of events for your young sailors?
Well, it really does give them some exposure to new places to sail. Kaiden, for example, has never sailed here in Montague, so he'll be a little more comfortable sailing in different locations now. It's always good to get the sailors out of their comfort zone, out of Elizabeth Harbor and into some new environments, face some new sailors. When you just practice against your own club all the time, you can only get to a certain level, so you got to expose the sailors to higher levels of competition. So we always find whenever we travel, whether it's locally or internationally, it really does boost the confidence of the sailors, and in the end, that usually increases their level of competence and their confidence.
And speaking to that then, what makes a good sailor? Experience, or is more to it than that?
There's a lot. There's a lot. It really is a very complex sport. It's one of the most amazing sports. It takes incredible mental discipline to be a good sailor. You have to be very clever. You have to understand a lot of physics. You have to understand a lot about the weather and current and wind and your boat and how everything works together. The best sailors tend to be the ones that don't get frazzled or don't get discouraged when things don't go right, because frustrations are a part of sailing. So the best sailors tend to handle frustrations very well, but it definitely takes a very sharp mental athlete, as well as in some of the international classes, a very physical athlete. You need to be tall, you need to be strong, you need to have some stamina. The races can last up to 45 minutes, and you need to expel a whole lot of physical energy during the race.
So Tanaj, obviously we understand that you are a champion in your own right. So talk to us a little bit about sailing and how you feel going into tomorrow's competition.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be interesting. We got some good competition for sure. All of the islands are going to be well represented in all the classes, Opties, Sunfish, Lasers, and the E-Class. So there's going to be good competition all around, so I'm excited for it.
Are you feeling any pressure?
There's definitely some pressure on, that's for sure, to win the Sunfish class and possibly even the E-Class. So there's always pressure, there's always stress to perform the best, try to do the best in every regatta. So gonna just see how it goes and try to race my best.
And Kaiden, we understand that this is your first time sailing here in New Providence. If your boat could talk about you as a captain, what would it say?
I'm not sure, but I think my boat would be more like that sometimes, most of the time, probably, that it goes to tip over a lot because of the high winds, and like how I have to tighten my vang and sprit halyard to make sure that it can get the most air it can. So it may be more tipping over, but I'd have to hike out more.
No, so it's saying you have to keep things in control.
Yes, sir.
So how are you feeling going into the competition? Are you scared, nervous, or do you feel prepared?
I feel mostly like it's just for the fun of it, and I really would love to sail and express how I feel during sailing. And I'd love to just sail on the water and see my competition and just try to get better at sailing and know sailing more.
Awesome.
As a sport.
Awesome. Well, definitely good luck to you, Tanaj and Kaiden, in the competition tomorrow. And good luck, Coach, to the other sailors that you brought with you as well.
Thank you very much. We're looking forward to it. Definitely come out, enjoy yourselves. It's going to be a beautiful time. The weather might be a bit of a challenge, but that's okay. The kids are up for it.
Awesome. Well, you're watching What's Trending. Stay with us.
And I tell you, I get no money. At least not yet. I get my money. Managers. Oh, I done upload it.
Hello, Miss Daisy. Your check is ready.
Thanks. I got it. I come for that little thing. You got it?
Money Managers, responsible lenders for responsible people.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. Not only do we guarantee the best prices on all your favorite building materials, but we're proud to offer the best delivery program in all of Nassau. Whether you buy one box of screws or a truckload of plywood, island-wide delivery is just $5. And for our Family Island customers, we're proud to offer complimentary drop-off to the mailboat of your choice. Visit us today at the CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road and check out our website to set up your next delivery.
Folks, gather around because we're about to dive into the fascinating and, let's be honest, way more fun history of anti-Valentine's Day, Confession Day. Forget the candlelight dinners and the chocolates. We're here to celebrate the epic fails of love. And guess what? Today, February 19th, is observed as Confession Day on the anti-Valentine's Day calendar. It all started back in the early 2000s when people, fed up with the sugar-coated nonsense of Valentine's Day, decided to rebel. And boy, did they say, hey, what if we create a day for the awkward, messy, real side of love? So Confession Day was born. It's like Valentine's Day, but way more sarcasm. Instead of couples exchanging lovey-dovey notes, we're swapping embarrassing stories of terrible dates, epic ghosting, and romantic disasters. Think of it as a therapy session, but with snacks, bad puns, and zero pressure to be perfect. How do we celebrate it? Well, simple. First, we throw out the roses and petals and throw a party where everyone shares their most cringe-worthy romantic blunders. Some people even burn their old love letters because who doesn't need a little closure, right? And the best part of it, you get to do it all guilt-free, surrounded by people who understand that love isn't just roses and chocolates. It's also missing the date, sending a text to the wrong person, or accidentally calling your ex on Valentine's Day. Been there, done that. But if you're still not clear on celebrating the day, consider this: expressing your feelings honestly to someone special or appreciation for your loved ones. Apologize for past mistakes. If you've hurt someone unintentionally, use this day to say sorry and mend broken relationships. Share a personal secret. If someone has been weighing you down, Confession Day is a chance to share it with a trusted friend, partner, or even in a journal. Write a confession letter. If speaking directly feels difficult, write down your thoughts in a heartfelt letter or message. Practice self-reflection. Take time to reflect on your emotions, past actions, and areas where you can grow as a person. So, to recap, skip the flowers and join in on the fun, because here at Confessions Day, it's not about perfect love, it's about embracing the flaws, the awkwardness, and the messy, beautiful chaos of being human. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our